Hey Latchkey kids and driving mutants, I'm Lady Shasha, mistress of the snark. And let me tell you right now that this is the best sequel in the series. I think we can all agree on that. This opens with Kristen making a papier-mâché replica of Nancy's house, complete with the red door. This continues the trend of Nightmare on Elm Street parents being trash, with the introduction of Kristen's mother. Freddy makes it look like Kristen slit her wrists, and this is how she ends up in the hospital with the other Dream Warriors. This sequel returns to the original format of having a regular waking world and a dream world. It acts as if the events in part 2 didn't happen, and as I said in my review for part 2, I feel that Jesse should have been one of the kids in the hospital in part 3. The kids in the hospital are Will, who is into role-playing games, Jennifer, who wants to be an actress, Joey, who is like Johnny Depp Jr. and he doesn't speak, Kincaid, who loves wrestling and strongman competition type stuff and has the best lines in the movie.
Yeah, lifestyle of the rich and psychotic. Great, and that's my dick that's killing me.
From now on, your doors will be locked during sleeping hours. We'll start a policy of evening sedation for everybody.
The fuck you will!
Taryn, who is a recovering addict, and Philip, who likes to make puppets. The doctors are Dr. Neil Jordan, who genuinely wants to help the kids, and this nurse ratchet-faced lady. Nancy becomes her third doctor as she has just completed grad school and is doing her internship at the hospital. This movie makes you care about the characters, except for her. I don't care about her, but I like the rest of these characters. I've said it before and I'll say it again. As many times as I've watched and rewatched the Halloween series, the only characters I can remember are Laurie Strode, Jamie, Tommy Doyle, and Ben Tramer. And as for the Friday the 13th series, the only people I can remember is Tommy Jarvis, or I should say the Tommy Jarvis says, because there's like 3 of them. Tina, the girl that was telekinetic. And I feel like there's Ted, because...
Ted! Hey, Ted, where the hell's the corkscrew?
Whereas in the Nightmare on Elm Street series, I can remember Nancy, Glenn, Tina, Rod, Jesse, Kincaid, Joey, Kristen, Alice. I almost forgot about her because her personality is not quite that great. Sheila and Yvonne. I mean, I can nowhere near come as close to naming that many characters in either Halloween series or the Friday the 13th series. Another thing I like about this is how accurate this is to being in a psychiatric facility. The group therapy scene is legit. I've been there, I know from experience. And there's always one staff member who is a nurse ratchet type that just trips off the power to antagonize the patients. Aside from the characters and the authenticity of the hospital setting, another thing that's great about this are the kills. Philip gets killed first. The effects in this look great. One of the best in the series. One interesting thing that I notice is within the soundtrack, you can hear an effect that sounds like an unborn child's heartbeat during an ultrasound. That makes sense when you discover the reveal about Freddy's mother. Next, Jennifer gets killed in a manner that cannot possibly be mistaken for a suicide, but the staff still write it up as a suicide. This sequence is just phenomenal. The setup, the punchline, and the kill scene. The creativity, the humor, the execution. This is slasher movie goals. The kids are eventually forced to battle Freddy. Joey gets trapped by his hormones. Freddy defeated Taryn by using her addiction against her. The worst kill in this is Will's. You're supposed to be a wizard and this is all you can think to do? Random thought, how did Will's socks get this dirty when he doesn't walk? There is a subplot about Amanda Kruger that starts off so well in part 3, but would return in part 5 in a worse form. Also, shout out to the stunt person with this wig. Like I said, this is the best sequel in the series, and it's every bit as good as the first one in my opinion. And with that, I'll be back in a moment to talk about Nightmare on Elm Street Part 4, The Dream Master. Welcome back. Let's get into A Nightmare on Elm Street Part 4, The Dream Master. The first time I saw this, I didn't realize that Tuesday Night was playing the same Kristen character that Patricia Arquette had just played in Part 3. I honestly thought she was a new character until they showed her in school with Kincaid and Joey. Unfortunately, this reunion is short-lived because in this movie, Freddy comes back in the oddest way. Kincaid's dog pisses on Freddy's bones in a dream and brings him back. That's a thing that really happened. It doesn't make sense, but we accepted it in 1988. The way Freddy strokes Kincaid's head after he kills him is so... I don't even have words for it. Joey, who I nicknamed Johnny Depp Jr., not only is in the bed watching TV with headphones on, just like Johnny Depp's Glenn, he also gets killed in the bed. still victimized by his hormones. Robert Englund as a school nurse was a cool scene. I thought that was kind of funny. For me, in this particular sequel, the most iconic scene is the dream sequence on the beach. I don't care what you say, the way Freddy was standing there and putting on the sunglasses, it's the image I associate most with this movie. Yes, it's campy and over the top, but it's fun. After Kristen gets got, Alice becomes the main character. She is boring. Everyone around her has more personality than she, but that's sort of the point, because you get to see her develop a personality. It's made up of different parts of her friends and her brother, but it's there. Each time Freddy kills one of her friends, she acquires an aspect of their personality. The next to go is Sheila. She was my favorite character in this. I identified with her so much. I was a black girl in honors physics, which only had 3 other girls in a class of 27. Plus I have asthma. That's why you can sometimes hear me taking deep breaths in between sentences. I'm working with less oxygen. Her death made me so sad the first time I saw this. And by the way, I was 14 years old the first time I saw this movie on video, so I really could identify with it. And I watched it so many times when I had it on VHS. Rick's death scene starts off good with a burnt Kristen in an elevator, but when he ends up in the Dream World dojo and they play Freddy's theme in a stereotypically Asian style, I should complain about this wig, but it's not nearly as bad as the stunt person's wig is when Alice acquires her brother's nunchuck skills. Look at this stiff mess. It's not even the right color. Debbie's death has the best effects in this movie. The effects used to make her arms turn into roach limbs look great. And the best effect of this whole series is when she face plants into the roach motel, and when she lifts her head, her human face comes off and you see the roach face. The thing is, how did she fall asleep when she was lifting weights? Or are we to assume that when she dreams about lifting weights? I always wondered that. It makes sense, because when I used to play volleyball in school, I sometimes dreamt I was playing volleyball, so maybe that's what it was. She was dreaming that she was lifting weights. Anyways, let's talk about Alice's outfit. She has on long johns, a T-length skirt, and socks with flats. What is this? Why is this? Alice is trying to save Dan, so she runs home and has a clothing change montage. I laughed my ass off when she said fucking A. Alice goes to karate fight Freddy, and no, I'm not making that part up. She actually goes to karate fight Freddy in a chapel or church of some sort. And she's saying bonsai in the wrong context, just like her brother did. But it seems that she didn't have to fight him at all, because she defeats him by showing him his own reflection. Another effect that is still great looking today is Freddy's demise, where the souls are trying to escape his body and pull him apart. That looked great. There are close-up shots of Freddy's chest with actors in it, and then farther away shots of the arms coming out from everywhere, and it looks great. It might even be a better achievement than the Roach Motel death. What do you guys think? Which effect did you like better? The Roach Motel or the souls trying to tear Freddy apart? Or Sheila getting her life force sucked out? This one gets a lot of hate, but I only think it's because it comes after part 3, and part 3 was so phenomenal. Part 4 is not as bad as what you may remember. This director did a lot of overhead shots, like the ones James Wan was being praised for most recently in *Malignant*. This has some interesting music choices, like Sinead O'Connor's song with MC Lyte, "Put Your Hands on Me." This also has a Fat Boy song called "Are You Ready for Freddy", in which Freddy spits a hot 16. I don't really know how many bars he spit, I didn't count. Whose idea was it for Freddy to rap anyways? Speaking of music, I found out some interesting info. As I was listening to the Fat Boys rapping over the ending credits, I remembered that there was another rap song out at the same time that was by DJ Jazzy Jeff and the Fresh Prince. And it was also a Nightmare on Elm Street rap. And I thought to myself, did this movie have 2 different rap songs associated with it? Apparently, that song was not made in association with the movie at all. It was a song by DJ Jazzy Jeff and the Fresh Prince called "A Nightmare on My Street", which was just made for their album. And it made them end up in court for copyright infringement. Second question for you. Which song did you like better? The Fat Boys rap song about Nightmare on Elm Street, or DJ Jazzy Jeff and the Fresh Prince's song about Nightmare on Elm Street? I like Nightmare on Elm Street Part 4, The Dream Master. Not as much as I like Part 3, The Dream Warriors. But this made for a great double feature. At the time of this recording, both movies were available on HBO Max. I think they might both be available on Peacock TV as well. But like I always say, don't take my word for it. Watch it for yourself. Just because I love something doesn't mean you won't hate it, and just because I hate something doesn't mean you won't love it. Stay tuned for my review of A Nightmare on Elm Street Part 5, The Dream Child, and Freddy's Dead, The Final Nightmare. Until next time.